Oh, that's nice. You join me inside the cabin of the 2020 Toyota GR Supra. I'm going to do this review in a one-take style because, honestly, I'm a little too lazy to be hacking up the audio and video files into something spectacular movie quality. So this is what you get. If you haven't seen my POV drive or walk around for this new Supra, I would encourage you to do so. I will link them in this video, but you will see little bits and pieces from them in this review here. Let's address the elephant in the room first, which is that Toyota is calling this the Mark V Supra. They put their badge on it, but BMW developed the car. Yes, Toyota put its own body on it. They tweaked the steering and suspension as they would, but it is largely a BMW Z4. Let's consider this. Okay, first, there are the super fanboys, which I understand them being upset. If you're really attached to a nameplate, you want to see its roots carried out through the lifespan of the car. But let's also consider the fact that Toyota is run by accountants these days. I love the brand. I've got a RAV4, I've got a Land Cruiser. I like that they stand for reliability and build quality. But they're run by accountants, and this Supra would not exist if BMW's fruits of their labor were not utilized by Toyota, therefore decreasing Toyota's sunk cost into this project. They didn't have to build it from the ground up. They could just do the tweaks they wanted, put a Supra badge on it, and move on, not caring too much about how many they sell because they're not trying to recoup a lot of cost. So let's just appreciate the fact that we have a new Supra. Okay, we gave the elephant its peanuts. There's a fly running around here somewhere. There it is in my eye, perfect. In my nose, good. But let's continue to the exterior design discussion, which when I first saw this vehicle online, I hated how it looked. I thought it looked like a human male genitalia part. You do the math on which one I'm talking about, especially the nose. But in person, I really need to change my opinion. I do dig it, especially the rear three-quarter view. It is low, it is wide, it's got that ducktail spoiler integrated in the trunk. It looks excellent. And the nose I can deal with, especially because they've got some strakes cut into the hood, so it visually breaks it up. Yes, those are fake vents mixed with all the other fake vents on the vehicle, but Toyota was not going to put money into a vehicle that they didn't build from the ground up to put real ducting in it. So yes, your brakes might get a little hot if you're using this on the track all the time, but at least it looks cool. Inside, it is mostly BMW with a few Toyota touches, but it's a BMW steering wheel, BMW shift paddles, that's BMW's iDrive infotainment system, and dial down here, a BMW gear selector, BMW climate control buttons, all of that. I don't know about the seats. I think those are made by Toyota, and the JBL sound system, JBL and Toyota be like this, so that's definitely Toyota. The gauge cluster is a pretty cool design with the tack front and center with a 3D effect to it, and the speedo on the left. I don't think you can reconfigure it at all. I tried. Maybe I'm just dumb, but I could not figure that out. The visibility inside is not great. It's like, my friend put it this way, and I totally agree with him. It's like you're wearing a baseball cap at all times, because the bill's right here, and you can't look up above the bill. So these windows, they're cut out such that it's a very narrow view. The front windshield is pretty narrow, the back glass is pretty narrow. It's not that bad actually, so I can see out of the rearview mirror pretty easily. But if I look over my shoulder here, this tiny little window here that's meant for aided visibility is blocked by the seat headrests. And there's a lot of pillar back here, so your rear outward visibility is not going to be the best. I do have plenty of headroom. I have my seat in the lowest possible position. I'm 6 feet tall, but I got a couple inches here, so I could probably snake on a helmet for my track time. And it's very comfortable. This is the 3.0 premium trim of the new Supra, so it's got some niceties like heated seats and other things. You gotta look those up. I'm not too positive, but it is nicer, and the sound deadening inside this cabin is excellent, such that apart from the noise of the exhaust, you don't hear any wind or road noise. It's really well built. You can feel that, and it's comfortable for cruising. So yeah, I'm all on board with the exterior and interior design. I think it's time to drive this bad boy. And away we go. Powering this new Supra is a 3.0 liter straight six turbocharged engine sourced from, you guessed it, it's BMW. and it makes 335 horsepower and 366 pound-feet of torque. Why did I put those numbers in quotes? Well, it's because pretty much every outlet at this point has confirmed that Toyota is underrating this engine. It makes more power than they say it does. It does 0 to 60 faster than they say it does. So you're looking at just under 4 seconds. Top speed, well, that's what they say because BMW limits that to 155. But this thing is properly quick. I know there's always a discussion of what is the perfect amount of horsepower, and really you can't give a proper answer to that because it all depends on the weight of the vehicle, the size of the vehicle, all that stuff. But I would argue that with the what feels like 380 to 400 horsepower at the crank, not at the wheels, to this new Supra is the perfect amount of power. It is really quick, really quick. I wouldn't need it to be any quicker than this. I would need it to have a manual transmission at some point, and I hope they don't just pair that 6-speed manual with a lower displacement engine to come. I hope it gets this same engine, because this with a manual would be super fun. But what you do get, the 8-speed auto, is excellent. It's a CF unit from BMW again, and it fires through the gears as quick as you want. You've got the steering wheel mounted paddles. If you want to do that manual style, you can click over the gear selector and then do that on your own, and it's just instant. You press the toggle, you got the next gear. Toggle, gear. It's, you think about it, you hit the thing with your finger, and you're there. And pickup is nice. And I'm starting in comfort mode, so the sound you are hearing, that is comfort mode. If I put it in sport, it gets a little throatier. Oh, we got the pops, the burbles. Yeah, we got some of that. I like it. I like the noise it makes. Yes, it is a BMW noise through and through, but Toyota amplified it a bit, and they tweaked that a bit, and it all sounds so good. And I love that when you hit the sport button, it turns the auto start-stop system off, because clearly if you're sporty, you are not caring about the fuel economy, of which this car gets pretty decent. 24 combined MPG, that's not bad. Granted, that's not if you're in sport mode all the time and flooring it from the lights. You can swing the rear end around. I love that. Again, sorry, going back to the power, I do think this is the perfect amount of horsepower. Gets you moving in a hurry. There's not going to be a whole lot of vehicle samples out on the road that are just going to embarrass you. Yes, if you get into supercar territory, they will embarrass you, but hopefully you're not trying to hang out with them, because you're driving a $50,000 Supra, you're not driving a $400,000 Ford GT. Speaking of the money, is it worth $50,000? Yes, I think so. I don't think it's worth the $50,000 markup on top of the $50,000 MSRP that dealers are charging. It is not a $100,000 car, but it is well worth that $50,000 price. This one, as equipped, the premium trim is $56K out the door, and while that is a lot of money, and you're getting real close to that new C8 Corvette territory, which is of course mid-engine and more powerful and will frankly drive circles around this on a racetrack, this is still a great car. It's such a good daily driver. It's comfortable when you want it to be. Then you drop it down some gears and you mash it, and then it's fast. It's outright fast. Sounds good. It looks cool. It doesn't look like a Z4, which is what Toyota wanted and what they got out of the equation. So I'm all on board with how this car drives. The steering feels different. Now, I'm not on a mountain road right now, so I can't show you that while I'm talking about it, but let's throw in some POV drive footage while I talk about the steering system. It's excellent. Toyota's tweaks make it so it's not aggressively heavy, which is what all manufacturers seem to be going to with their electronic steering systems. They're like, okay, we can't have that tactile feedback from a hydraulic rack, so let's just make the steering system heavy like a hydraulic rack. No, or like a manual rack. No, that doesn't solve the problem. That doesn't help at all. All it does is make it such that you have to work out before you can, and get swole before you can drive your sports car. No, what Toyota did by keeping the steering light but ultra precise, the turn in is immediate. This is an excellent, excellent car to thread through a canyon road. And I'm a big fan. Big fan. Pops and burbles. Its light is out, so we're stopping. Good chance to talk about the brakes. The brakes are excellent, very linear. Plenty of stopping power. I haven't taken it on track yet. I will next week, and unfortunately, I won't have that footage for you. Maybe I will. I don't know. We'll see if I decide to throw it in. But I can't describe how they hold up after aggressive use on track. Gosh, this thing's fast. But the brakes are plenty up to snuff. They match the powertrain perfectly. Yeah, this is just a fun car. It's just a fun car. And if you can get over the fact that it's got a Supra badge, but it isn't within the history of Toyota Supra, a Toyota developed, Toyota engineered product, therefore not maybe a Supra, we still do have an excellent sports car on the market because Toyota said, yes, BMW, I will take the fruits of your labor and I will put a Toyota badge on it. Yes, you could have the Z4, but do you want the BMW stigma? Some do, some don't. And I do like how this looks better, which is so weird to say after I saw it in person. It looked like a wee-wee. But here we are. Well, let's turn the traction control off and slide the butt end around, shall we? Okay, let's do that. In first gear, and here we go. Okay. Still tries to catch itself, even though I had everything turned off, but it'll move the tail. It will move the tail. This is a good sports car. And I, for one, am glad that it exists. I'm glad that even though it's not a real Supra, it is a great sports car, and I can easily recommend it. The one caveat I have is, yes, okay, it's $50,000. Okay, not a real caveat. That's just, if you are looking for this kind of performance, this is worth it. But the real caveat I have is, though there is a Toyota badge on it, because it is engineered by BMW, you are not going to have that inherent Toyota reliability and low cost of maintenance. The second or third owner of this car, they've got some bills ahead of them. Not because things are necessarily going to fall apart, but when things do eventually fall apart, or your standard maintenance and upkeep, you've got a bill ahead of you. It's going to be expensive because you are keeping a BMW running, a European sports car running. You are not keeping a Toyota 2-liter 4-cylinder turbo going with just the obsessiveness that they put into making sure that things are engineered to last forever. This is not a Toyota Camry. It is a BMW Z4 that's bitching to drive. This thing is great, but it's not going to hold up and not going to be cheap to maintain like a Toyota, so keep that in mind. Those are my thoughts on the 2020 GR Supra. I hope you enjoyed this one-take style review. This is kind of how my reviews are going to be going. I do have a little bit better audio setup now. Hope you like that. And yeah, stay tuned because I'm back, ladies and germs. Kind of. Back-ish.